Hello again, it's me, it's Pluto Man, and you've tuned in once again to Poker for Muppets, and I hope you like the new background there. Now, have I got some Badugi for you? I've got more Badugi than you would ever believe. Because last night they had this New Year series, which was a nice thing, and three different levels. They had a $2.20 buy-in, low level, a medium, which was $22, and then a high, which I think was probably $215 or something. I didn't get involved in the high. I was going to play the low regardless of the medium. I thought I'll try and satellite into it. Um, Now, I watched something from Jonathan Little. Um, he's a very, very good guy. He's a very clever guy, very successful poker player too, clearly. In Hold'em, obviously, not this rubbish. But he said that you basically shouldn't play satellites unless you're going to play the main event anyway, the target event anyway, regardless of whether you win a ticket or not. Anyway, I don't know. I so anyway, I tried to satellite in, so maybe I shouldn't have done that and just played the event regardless. But anyway, I had three goes at trying to satellite in actually, and my first one, I actually got quite a long way in my first attempt, but was somewhere out from uh, the qualification spots. I think the top five got paid, and I don't know, quite a way off that. But this one, I've made the final table here. Again, we've got eight at the final table, and the top five get through to the main event. It's my second attempt, and oops, okay, here we go. Um, and see how this one pans out. So don't have anything there, just let it go. It's a bit difficult. This is in fourth place, sort of, and five get paid. So, and you don't, if you hardly have any chips at all, and you've got these three people here with virtually no chips. Well, that's not true. They don't have virtually no chips, but they have a lot fewer chips than me. So you're the one with virtually no chips. So I feel like I shouldn't bubble here. I shouldn't miss out here. I mean, you never know though. I mean, even this guy here doubles up twice or something, and then suddenly these stranger things happen. So he did. He just took that down there. And now it's a difficult one. Do I play the hand? Do I not play the hand? And obviously I've got a three card, a monster three card hand basically. And if, um, so let's see what happens. Cobra Power, what is he going to do? Okay. He decides he's not discarded. And God, look what I hit here, right? Would you believe it? So of course, if I miss here, I I'm still I'm not out of it by any means. But he suddenly closes in on me. So whether I should have even got involved, I mean, I think look at that, I hit the nuts there. So I'm very lucky. He had a nine, a pat nine, which is a very strong hand, and uh, he's going to have the best hand two out of three times there, with my three draws. So I was lucky to hit one of my outs there. Didn't need to make the nuts, of course, but that's what I did do. Um, and now there's a fixed limit Badugi that's just started about 10 minutes ago on the other table. So I'm playing. So there's also this going on at the same time as the New Year stuff is going on. So there's a few extra chips I've got there. Hopefully now, having done that, we've got those few extra chips. I'm fortunate to do so. So what's going on this one here? This time I actually I make a Badugi, and he I bet he folds on the last draw. He would go 1-1, and I make the fold here. I think that's the right thing to do. It's annoying to have to bet fold on the river, isn't it? Don't do it that often, but did that time. Doesn't feel if he's raising there, I think he's got a jack way. I think a jack is nowhere near good enough. So I go raise this. I'm not having a good tournament here so far in this fixed limit business. Just not winning many hands. Just things not happening for me. He calls to. I don't know how many he draws it. Just one. Fold here. 2-1. Completely miss. He just checks it back, which is pretty terrible. This time, I actually bet directly into him. I don't like doing that, betting to the guy who drew fewer cards, but if he's not going to bet himself, then there's no point in going for a check raise, which is what I'd do against basically a better player. So now down to six here. Somebody else, the other guy got knocked out. That big dice got knocked out. So six. So in the immediate bubble, um, five out of the six are going to qualify, and there's two with a lot of chips, two with basically in the middle, and I'm one of them, and then two with not many. So there's no way I should be bubbling here. But um, I only have a Queen Badugi, but I win that little pot there, which is kind of nice. You just don't know. I will play fewer hands here than I normally would. Uh, so I've actually zoomed in on this table here because, well, kind of, well, that's got all my attention really. This fixed limit one. At the moment, sort of just going on in the background, not a lot really happening. It's low priority at the moment, but you'll see soon I've got more Badugi tables than you could possibly shake a stick at. More Badugi tables than I think I've ever had in my life before. That's probably not true. I remember back in the day, about eight cash Badugi, maybe more than that. It was just beautiful, wasn't it? Got a flush here. I'm going to try and don't play silly buggers with that. Don't like this hand. Just let it go. Still six left. It's funny, isn't it? Someone gets a double up here. Like they both get a double up or something. And I've seen this before. And I've also bubbled a lot of tournaments recently. So I'm very conscious of that. Thinking I don't want to bubble this. What I've got here. So they're actually giving me hands. It'd actually be a bit easier if you didn't give me any hands. So Moby Dick. I thought it'd be interesting if he'd raise there, but I just go to the 3-6. The intention of probably drawing there, almost certainly if he called. So I'm just getting some hands. Come on, come on, come on. So someone with four figures now. Just min raises. Oh, I was hoping someone would at least call there. Oh, it's purgatory, isn't it? This being on the bubble of a satellite where the prize is a $22 ticket. It's reasonably significant, you know. You play $2, $3, $4, $5 tournaments all the time. This is, you know, something to aim for, isn't it? I don't know. It's not gonna make much difference to my life. Even my bankroll, I'm got four figures on the site at the moment, just into four figures. So this is obviously junk. So I hope you do like this background. I just like that sort of green and yellow. I quite like the sort of honeycomb thing going on here too. It's just a bit more interesting. It's more me somehow. Do have a oh, I've got a Queen Badugi there now. Hang on, what's gone on? Have we just started? What's going on now? This is where I start to get a little bit confused. So what does he do here? Stalling's not going to do you any good. It's not going to help you. Right, so Moby Dick, he just checks, I call. Right, so yes, this is us. So another satellite has just started up. That's right. So I'm a third one. So if I miss out on this one, I've still got another one possibly. Fold now. I think I hit the 752, didn't I? But I just get out of the way there. Um, don't want to tangle with somebody with a good number of chips. And whenever I see him, he obviously does very well. This Moby Dick guy. Nearly folded there, which would have been terrible against the guy who was sitting out. So I fold there. Okay. I just get out of the way here. So I'm not playing a lot of hands in this fixed limit business. Do have a hand here that normally I would play. If it was a normal tournament, I would. By the way, this business hyper turbo and deep. I think they must have made a mistake. They probably intended it to be hyper turbo and deep, and it was neither hyper turbo nor deep. Interesting that they do have antis here, and in the real event they will have antis as well, as you will see. Ooh, have I given that away that I'm going to qualify? Well, I'm going to play the low one anyway, so I am going to be playing one of the main events. Maybe I won't qualify. You'll find out very soon, I expect. But satellites are something I haven't played very much, so I'm a little bit just out of my comfort zone a bit. I just don't play them that often. But when they have these series things, that's about the only time I do play them. Um, One of the problems with them is when you do qualify for something that's a bigger buy than what you normally pay and play, I suppose. It's um, kind of yeah, then when the real thing, you don't want to bubble that, right? If you qualify for the real thing, you don't want to bubble it that time. So I'm going to bet this just for pure value here. So this another satellite is sort of going along in the background. So I'm actually playing three tournaments now, three Badugi tournaments at the same time. Oh, and I qualify, right? Just how did that one pay out? I can't get my words out here. Yeah, so that Shomde, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name, gets eliminated there, and I do get through. So I'm going to play this as well. And then if I qualify, so it's my third attempt here as well. So having already made it through, I'm going to play it now. The $22 buy-in. But this third attempt here, for somebody who maybe doesn't know how to play Badugi, all those hearts there. So this time I actually cap, which is interesting. I don't have a lot of chips. Like 1 out of 9 times I've seen the draw. Not doing very well. So he's just capped me go. Don't know much about him. Bets, and I just call him down all the way actually. I make a mistake here. He's got 310 chips, so I should have just raised him on the end there. But you know I do win that, so that was kind of nice. And look what I've got here. So here I am. I'm in this satellite. I've got a pat six. I'm on the button. I just raise it up, just like I would with a normal hand. Um, Just quite happy about that. To get both callers, that's really nice. Most of the time you don't want to see that, but this time I'm pretty happy. And obviously I don't discard. It's a full bluff. What's he doing? Well, he sort of bets into me there. I decided to just call because I want to keep Lorugua in, and he min raises, which is kind of interesting. And and I just get my all my chips in there, and I think the pot's just got too. Even if he hasn't got a good hand particularly, the pot's got too big for him to fold. So we're all pat here. I hope no one's got my 6-4-3-2 beaten. Let's see. Last draw now. Nobody's drawing, I don't expect. Okay, and pat, and we both have 10, so I'm miles ahead there. I win a nice pot and sort of in business in my third satellite. So what would happen if, as I've already got through, if I qualify a second time, well, then I'll get all of that in tournament money, which would be very, very nice to have all that tournament money. I remember when it used to be very easy back in the day to acquire tournament money. And I used to get quite a lot of it. Used to be able to win satellite tournaments and then unregister, and that was, you know, and just take tournament money if you wanted. They don't let you do that anymore. Which is kind of a shame, because sometimes you literally can't play the tournament that you want to satellite into. You just can't play it. You've got to work or whatever, and so you end up so they lose out because they get rake off that, right? So by me not playing or whoever else not playing. then they don't get as much rake. Okay. So fold, fold, fold. You can see it's 7:10. And my first satellite I tried to play started at about 4:15. So what have we been going for? Feels like absolutely ages. Um, Here we are. This table here. I've only got a two-card draw. I haven't improved, so um, now on the right-hand table, got pretty much garbage. I don't have a lot of chips. Hasn't been a great tournament for me so far. But anyway, the night is young, even though I've been going for 3 hours. The night is still pretty young. Um, just gets all his chips in. What's he doing? So this guy, Asgar guy makes it very clear. He runs into number three. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I've got a very good draw. I'm going to play it as a draw here. I'm not going to pat the queen. I think that would be a mistake pretty much always. Unless you know that somebody has a range where they could be like patting every hand or something. But even then, I don't know. Okay. So 9, 7, 6, 5 under the gun. You don't want many callers here. So, and I don't get any callers. Okay. So I have chipped up a little bit, as you can see. Uh, but look, at 3 out of 16 when I've seen the draw, one of four showdowns, so haven't been particularly active. And then just been just not winning a lot of pots, really. 8, 7, 6, I will open this up if it folds around to me. Here I'm just going to let this one go. Absolutely let it go. So, now what do I decide to do here? I decide to call. Ugh. It's not a good hand. It's difficult when you're getting 5-1, isn't it? You can't even you can't really improve to anything apart from a sort of mediocre Badugi. It's a trap hand. It's a trap hand. I have to tread pretty carefully if I make my hand. Also, I've tipped off the fact that I don't have a good hand because I'm raising any good hand there, any good three-card draw, three-card hand. I'm raising it there. So if anyone bets, I'm just going to get out of the way here, even on the flop. Just not worth it. Nope, that checks around. And now I hit a queen. Hit a queen, and there's still one draw left. So I bet and take it down. So that actually worked out okay. Anyone had raised me on the turn there, I would have folded. And even if someone called, I wouldn't have loved it. But obviously, I would have patted and just hoped out of position. You just don't know. So this time, this is a really horrible one too. Really, 7-5-1. Like I want to raise. That's what my instinct is to raise here. But because it's kind of gone multi-way, it's too good to fold. I think I'm sort of value now. Of course, I've got 5-2-1. There's not really value in raising. People limp in with really good three-card hands sometimes. So now I've improved to 5-2-1. He's pat, and I miss, and I'm done with this. Don't have the odds to carry on really, even with such a good draw. 5-4-2. That's very nice under the gun. And so I don't have many bets left. In 18, 17 seconds, I'm down to basically 5 big bets. So it's a problem with this game, an hour and 10 minutes into it, is you just don't have much ammo. Very few people have a lot of ammo in this tournament at the moment. It's 8-minute levels and that. So now I've improved to 4-2-1. And if he wants to raise me, I'll call. I'm going to keep betting and just hope he doesn't hit, basically. Hope he doesn't have 3-2-1. Bet again. What does he do this time? He puts his last 50 and his draw's terrible. That is very illustrative. I'm going to go back. if you look at his hand there, that's how not to play Badugi right there. So I'm under the gun. I was under the gun on that in that hand, and I had a hand that I was prepared to raise, and then he decides to call, and he certainly didn't have anything better than 8-6-1. He had a really terrible hand there, and that is that's oh, how people lose their money. 8-6-1 is not good enough. You have to fold. You have to fold. You have to fold. You must fold. If you don't fold, you're losing money. It's that simple. Of course, it's a low buy-in tournament, and it's not a like 2-4 game or whatever. But um, it's yeah, playing weak like 7-6-1's a fold there. It's like 8-6-1 is just terrible. You have to fold there. I can't. I hope you've got that. You've got that message now. Eight six, some crappy. That's the biggest leak in this game. Actually, is crappy 3 card hands. It's a worse leak than 2 card hands. Actually, some people play too many 2 card draws, but that's actually not as bad as playing hands like that. So anyway, that's kind of how he got knocked out of the tournament. He'd still definitely be in the tournament if he hadn't done that, obviously. So 7-4-1, good hand, and I was the beneficiary of that. You see. That's why, you're plus EV in the tournament when you can see people who, yeah, I don't really love this, but it's double suited, so all my outs are live here on the right hand table. He's Shonday. He's the guy who bubbled the last tournament, right? He's done started very very well this time. So anyway, I completely miss, and I decided to fold here. I don't know. Maybe I should have taken one off. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I give up too easily there. Okay, so I've got a um what am I doing? Got to raise this. I have to raise. Oh, what am I doing? I wasn't thinking, was I? I don't think I was. Well, hang on. What's going on? Was he in the? I was very confused there. So I think he was in the under the gun. So now what I'm doing here, I think is right. Just limping, just calling here, limping. Um, he bets again on the left, and I let it go. Pot because this is pot limit on the left and fixed limit on the right. It's a big difference. And as I said, the pot limit here has got antes. So I've got ace five, double suited. Let's raise it up here. Um, decide to take one off here. 9-5-1. Cool here. Completely miss. Check it back, and I get another go at this draw. Completely missed though, and he bets. I was going to actually bluff the river there if he hadn't bet. That was my plan. And once again, I have to release my hand there, so I completely miss. Now this time, something I'm getting. What happens here? So I raise and pat jack, and what does he do? What does he do? He folds. That's all right. Don't mind that. Starting stack was 3,000. It's an awkward one. I decide here to actually get rid of the 10 as well. You could play it as 10-7-4, but the fact that I guess we've gone three-way, I decide to, because 7-4-2 or whatever is just, if you can hit something like that, you're kind of in business in a way. So anyway, I completely miss, but I get a second bite of the cherry. Don't do much better that time. I do have something that I can sort of work with, but and I get a third crack at it now. I've got 10-9, so I'm gonna bet this. It's a kind of a marginal bet, really. The pot's really small. Um, and then when I get raised, I just let it go. Um, I just don't feel that I'm going to have the best hand there. So I felt I had to bet there with kind of any Badugi, really, but I just don't know. So anyway, folds, that's all right. Um, 731, nice hand to get on the button here. So it's a really nice hand to have on the button. You can, because I mean 731's great because you can also make, you can improve your three card as well, 321, 431, all that sort of stuff. So now for, we go 1-1 and I miss. And on the last draw, and I bet just for pure value here. And luckily he calls me, and got it paid off. 842 here. So now, so I'm really low on. I don't have a lot of chips on this table, and I have to just go with this one. Now it's got it getting re-raised. 842 is not actually that great. It can obviously improve to something, to a really, like a really nice three card. It's not that bad actually. And obviously it can make an 8 Badugi, which is pretty strong. So. With the blinds coming around as well, and with antes and that, I just felt I had to play this hand, just get as much money into the pot as I can. I don't have a lot, so 42nd out of 48 before the hand started. So if the top five are going to get paid or whatever it is, then um, it's yeah, have to make something happen. So four way, which is kind of, oh, now I don't hit fantastically, and this other guy's pat as well. He's pat to begin with, so I don't know if I have the best hand here. I really haven't a clue. Um, just have to hope, don't I? So I've got a 731, the same hand again on the gun this time though. So I lose the hand to the Kemot, but he started with even fewer chips than me. So I do survive in the tournament with a small stack. Kemot just raise. I just get out of the way. I don't against that raise, even the min raise. I don't like 6-1. I hang on to the rest of my chips. Um, okay, decide to bet here. So that was interesting. Just go back a little bit here. What I decide to do. So so I have under the gun. I gave 731. It's a little bit hard because the other thing was going, other tournament was going on at the same time. Um, so and then I just check it back on the flop. Second draw, we go 1-1. So I completely miss. And I basically bluff this because I didn't bet the flop. When I bet the turn, it sort of makes me look like I've got a strong, I've hit something, right? Because I've changed my action. But of course, I didn't have anything. So this skiing, now, every time I see him, he's got not a lot of chips. I feel like he's far too passive. And I've seen him play, just far too passive. Look, he's very passive. I mean, if you're going to play a hand at all, you just got to get all your chips, and nothing else makes the slightest bit of sense. So 631, don't improve. Do now though. And I've got to hang on to the king here. Do not break, because it's reasonably likely he's going to have a better three card hand than 631. So it's a very good chance I've actually pulled ahead by hitting that king. So you've got to hang on to the king there. So knowing when to break and when to pat is really, really important with hands like that. I mean, if you start off with King 632, you don't pat that one, right? So anyway, that's how I actually did have a pat hand. Pat dealt Badugi, and I just let it go. So I'm over 7,000 now. I've made a little bit of headway all of a sudden. Um, and 5-1. It's interesting now. So I'm really low on chips. I'm deciding blinds are coming round again. Just going to go with this one. Obviously, I don't have a very good hand, but so I'm getting desperate. I get called and probably not in very good shape. Three way at minimum, three way. Um, Folds, interesting. So just three way. I go and improve significantly. I've got 621. So the rest of my chips are obviously going to go in. What's going to happen regardless. Okay. He doesn't. So now um, miss. I'm thinking I'm probably not going to survive much longer in this tournament. Um, and he bets. I'm thinking he's probably got a Badugi. Then I go and hit my 8. Is that going to be good enough? I had the best hand anyway. I had the best draw anyway. I didn't even need to hit it. That was kind of funny. So I've got a few chips again now, which I didn't expect to have. I thought I was going to be out of that tournament, I know 80% of the time or something there. I'm just a pessimist, but did not fancy my chances there. So I'm sort of, see, 21st out of 43, crept up a little bit, obviously. Middle of the pack. Uh, that big dice got knocked out just before the the top five who got through. He's like seventh or eighth from in that other satellite I showed you. So he's so 5-8 here on this table. Seventh place, you see, I've doing all right now. I cover everybody except Bolin Bird. 986, get rid of that. And I hit fantastically. Got a Badugi. And don't know anything about this guy. Do have some notes on him by the looks of things. Called a big. See, maybe that was a year, 16 months ago, 17 months ago. Okay. So I just pat, obviously. And then on the end, I think I make a mistake here in betting. I don't think I should have bet the river there. But now, um, I obviously three bet my pat 7. I just have to hope it holds up. But luckily he doesn't have a lot of chips. I'm very glad to see these pat. Really happy to see that. I just bet. He folds. Ooh, so I've got 5 figures. See that happening. Because at one stage I was down to like 1,200 chips or whatever it was. Really, really struggling at. So I'm in third place now. So I've got a Pat Jack here. Got a Pat Jack. Um, and I think I make a mistake here. I didn't know you went up. I just fold. I think I had to just re-raise. I don't know why I folded that. Well, because of all the other people in the pot, that's why. But I actually just needed. I didn't know him well enough by this point to know that he was just very loose, very aggressive. Um, if 10 minutes later, there's no way I would have done what I did there. I shouldn't have done it anyway. So 764. What do I do here? I decide to raise. I feel like Tricky Disco might not know what he's doing. These people who I know don't ski knows. So there's a chance here that Tricky Disco doesn't even know how to play. So now I do have a Badugi. It's not a fantastic one, but so 531 on the other table. Oh, go and hit here. It's all going off at the moment, isn't it? Oh, what am I going to check? Oh, for God's sake, why did I check there? Probably because I was. So now what do I do? I check raise, do I? Whoa, okay. I'm just banking on the fact that Tricky Disco doesn't know what he's doing. I just actually put him. Okay, so Tricky Disco is Pat there. Is he Pat again? Oh, he draws 2 here, right? So my suspicions, I think, are correct. I don't think he had the slightest clue. I just so I just get all the rest of that money in, see what happens. And wow, that was a crazy hand. I mean, just look at it. So Donski, what did he do exactly? Third draw. So he patted. And what did he have? So Tricky Disco he didn't have the slightest clue, and Don't Ski didn't have a Badugi. I was like, and that's a massive pot. So wow, it was huge, and I couldn't remember that's what happened. So anyway, I've got 3-2-1, so I'm just going to go with this one. I think go to that amount more than three times his raise, and what happens here? Is he pat? No, he's not. 3-2-1. Still isn't pat. Still isn't pat. Oh, and I go and hit. So I didn't need to hit really well. He made 6-3-2-1, made number six. I had a better draw to begin with. Now 4-2-1 on this table. Oof, all happening, isn't it? Suddenly, but then of course I'm deleting out all the crappy hands so nothing happens. So this time he's pat. Unfortunately, take another one off. And I probably have to let this one go. Or do I? Now this is interesting. I figure that because he's pat from the start, his range might not be that strong. And look what I hit here on the last draw. So I'm hitting some big hands today. Can't complain. And like normally I'll just bet straight into him here. But I decided to change it up and go for a check raise. Just you gotta mix up that play, right? Most of the time it's probably best to just bet there and the guy's pat from the beginning. But as opposed to when they make the hand, like if they've made the hand, when you hit on the river like that, if they hit on the first or second draw, they have a much stronger hand on average than if they're pat, clearly. So when they're pat from the beginning, so when they're pat from the beginning, you should be much more inclined to just bet into them on the end if you hit a monster like that. But that time I decided to go for the check raise just to mix it up occasionally. Think he would have called. He didn't have a very good hand though. Still think he would have called. He won't like to fold there. I don't like to fold there. I think it's probably a bit of a leak actually. He had a jack. Did he have a jack? I can't remember what he had there. Um. Okay, so miss here. So I got 20,000, leading the tournament all of a sudden. And look what I've hit. Go and hit that on a two-card draw, and he just folds. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? How he would fold there. How he thinks that's the right thing to do. So just check fold. I mean, insane. I could have raised that up actually, that hand there. I decided not to. 4-4-4-1 has blockers, right? And here I've got 5-2-1. Now 10-8. And 22 left in this tournament. I think um, late reg has definitely been and gone now, and we've got, I think it's 11 that get paid. Not a lot of, I decide to just max it out. The reason is because of this third player here. I feel like I've got a lot of equity against, um, I figure like I've got more than 33% equity here for sure. Cat Max like to be Pat, not always, because he's basically getting all his money in here. And um, so he's not, and he's not Pat. So I decide to just bet again here. He calls. So now decide to just, well, I've got them in a nice position here because these guys don't have any chips basically. Um, this time I just check. And the last draw. Yeah, now Cat Mac is Pat, unfortunately. Um, I go and make eight. Oh, so he had the jack. So he had a terrible hand there. He had a 10 draw to begin with. This is another thing I'm seeing people are playing these rough draws all the time. Uh, so so anyway, I've got a lovely hand here. 8-5-3-1. Um, what's he do? There's Gavial Rocks, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. 9. Oh gosh, I was lucky there. Didn't beat him by much, and he was just unfortunate there. So anyway, it's only a satellite tournament, only a dollar 10, crikey. So because of that, not many of the it's only like top 5% are gonna make it, right? So yeah, just have a look at that. So yeah, Jack 10-5-2 and Berlin Bird. Did have a better hand than him or her. Um, so I thought what I did there was fine. We should have bet again on the turn against Berlin Bird though. That's if there's any criticism, I think that might have been it. Okay, this Jubei is still here. Can't get rid of him. We're going to break soon, and there'll be a break in this commentary as well. So I can't just keep talking. Can't just if I do that, I have to do that in my work, and it's exhausting. So I'm doing it again now. So okay, so 951 won that little pot there. It's crazy. Okay, well, I've got a big hand here on the right hand table. 742, plenty good enough in that position. Got a little blocker as well, that three there that nobody else is going to be able to make or be able to have. Helps a little bit. Margins, obviously. And another very similar hand now in the big blind, 721, with another blocker, the two blocker as well. Uh, Seventh place at the moment. Top five are going to get paid here, are going to make it or win that ticket. Already have a ticket, as I showed you earlier. But another one would be nice because I get all that tournament money. So still a possibility, isn't it? So cool here. He's Pat. This time I really don't have the odds to call here, and I just let him have that one. Uh, oh gosh. Just look at my graph and how I sort of almost a bottom feeder there for a bit, and I sort of came back into some sort of came up for air there a little bit, and then eventually suddenly soared into the sky. I've got a sort of little crown there, which is kind of nice. A little interesting that from second place at the moment, the top two are very, very close. Long way to go here. And you can easily fall from a position like this into oblivion. Sounds like Alton Towers. I wonder if that Alton Towers thing still exists. That ride. I went on it. When was it? In '99, a long time ago now. But it was a really new ride then. Not a fan of theme parks, but I went because other people were going. Right. But it was actually kind of fun. Um, it's a long time ago. University then. Last century. Literally last century. Long time ago. What have I got? Oh, I've got a Badugi here, everybody. Badugi alert. Okay, good Badugi too. It's not an absolute monster, but it's a very strong hand. 9-5. Luckily, this guy Downey um just does not have a lot of chips, so I'm not gonna go broke here or anything. Just gonna. He's only got 500 left now, so there's an interesting sort of thing here. He's got 500 chips left, so. By rights, he shouldn't call a bet on the N unless I have. So I'm unlikely to be bluffing here. So you probably shouldn't call unless he actually has a Badugi, in which case he's actually going to beat me quite often. Um, but if you look at so if it's the break time coming up, like we're seconds away. So he's here 22 seconds from the next break. That's what that means. So so it's only 500 chips. It's not much, but I'm gonna have to make that bet on the end. Even with a king, you should make that bet on the end there, because he just um yeah, I think it was the last time before the break. Might have got one more in there, but yeah, he just that little piece of advice there to bet in that situation, especially on the end when you came up for a break like that. Just bet any Badugi there. If you've got somebody who's that short. they might just put their chips in and call it a night. So there you go. That's the first part of a Badugi bonanza is probably what I'm going to call this video because there was a lot of Badugi that I played last night. Lots and lots of it. But so obviously had a really good little session here and came from basically nowhere to be leading the tournament. 19 players left. Twice as many chips as anybody else on this table. And so got to make them count. That's the thing here. You've got all these chips. You've got to make them count and loosen up a little bit too, because with take advantage of the bubble. Still a little way away from that, but it's going to already be in people's minds. It's even a 3 or 30 tournament. People don't want to bust out when they've already played the tournament for a couple of hours. So anyway, that will do for me for now, and part two will be coming up shortly. Don't go away.